All right, first up now, capital markets regulator SEBI has actually approved norms to regulate unregistered financial influencers who are known as FinFluencers. This comes because there's a lot of potential risks associated with the unregulated FinFluencers who might be giving misleading or biased advice. So let's understand what this crackdown really means and who will be impacted. We've got Ankur Mishra joining in first up to give us a lowdown on all that was announced. Ankur, over to you.
Entities which are regulated by us, they are now being mandated that they cannot associate with people who do one of two things, either of two things. One is if they are not registered investment advisors or research analysts and yet they are giving investment advice or research analysis, then that's a inappropriate activity. They're supposed to register with us. Since they're unregistered and they're still doing it, so they're breaking the law. So obviously our regulated entities cannot have any association with them because they're breaking the law. The second is, irrespective of whether they are registered or unregistered, if they are making claims on performance or in terms of portfolio performance, their service performance, etc., unless it is specifically provided for them to be able to give that information of performance, if they are making claims without that approval, then again they are breaking the law, and therefore again our regulated entities cannot associate with them.
Yes, as reported here on ET Now, SEBI has now approved FinFluencer norms. Remember, we had earlier broken the story that SEBI is likely to prohibit any of the market regulated entities with having any association with FinFluencers, and now these norms have been approved in the board meeting which was held on Thursday. Under these norms, the regulated entities like brokers, mutual funds, exchanges, these entities cannot have any kind of association, meaning any kind of transaction or money transfer or promotion of any kind of activities with FinFluencers per se. Remember, there were several complaints against FinFluencers which has been misguiding investors per se with a kind of investment advisory, whether in stocks, futures and options, and after that SEBI had proposed few of the norms, and finally now these norms have been approved by the market regulator. Under these norms, there are few exceptions which has been given by the market regulator, and that includes investor education. For instance, any of the FinFluencer is using the platform for educating the investor, that is allowed by the market regulator. Apart from that, there is also inclusion of digital platforms which will be approved by the regulator, and those digital platforms can be used for FinFluencers.
All right, thanks very much, Ankur. Let's take this conversation forward. Anant Ladha, he is a FinFluencer himself. He's the founder of Invest Aaj for Kal and now joins in with his thoughts. And, Anant, given the fact that SEBI has now come on board with these norms, they want to regulate the unregistered financial influencers. Get an overall sense as to what you make of this news coming in at a time like this when we're seeing so many of these financial influencers cropping up.
Hi, firstly, thank you so much for having me on the show. I feel it's a good move and a much expected move because SEBI has been time and again putting out it very clearly that they want to separate the regulated one from the unregulated one and want to make it more clearer for the retail investors whom to trust and whom not to. I feel still we need some more clarity regarding how an influencer can associate and which all association will be valid for associating with brokerages. For example, is an AP considered as a regulated body? I still am not clear about it. I know that RIA and RA are considered as regulated entity, but as an RIA, you can't receive brokerage income from any stockbrokers. So I feel some more clarity is required, but this was much expected move.
Sure, and SEBI has actually gone ahead and said that for other financial services, the influencers are required to possess credentials or a license from IRDAI. They must also be qualified chartered accountants or company secretaries. This is quite a fair move, don't you think?
I feel that is fair. For example, I'm also a chartered accountant and a mutual fund distributor. So we always saw some of the influencers, especially on Instagram, off lately showing off their profits and trying to gauge a lot of retail investors just by proving that you can become rich very quickly overnight. So that is something which is serious from compliance perspective, and that had to be taken care of.
Yeah, and given the fact that there's so much, concern with respect to the potential risks that are associated to these influencers who are actually unregulated, they might be offering advice that's misleading or that's biased. I just want to understand, in your experience, what have been the repercussions of this, or have you heard of these instances taking place a lot where people are actually losing their hard-earned money?
See, as far as I know, all the biggest thing for which he comes in market, he thinks that he can make money overnight. He thinks that making 10% return per month or maybe overnight in one day also is possible because he's seeing his so-called idol making and showing profits every day. So this is something which has to be taken care of. A lot of people were even using fake mobile apps to show fake profit, or were using even fake P&Ls. So anyone who is trying to lure investor by showing off that how profitable he is, this is something which is not right ethically also. Because in reality, many of them were actually making losses, but just to make sure that their so-called unregistered tip advisory services work well, they were doing this. So this is a welcome step, and this was especially more prevalent on Instagram these days. We have a lot of trade with X, trade with Y, trade with Z, and hundreds of random challenges being formed on Instagram, proving how you can make money in call and put overnight. And they are proving also that, see, I am making today this much profit. See, I was having food and now I just made profit. So this is something which is not right ethically as well.
And, given the fact that you're also fully compliant, Anand, tell us how important it is to help distinguish yourself from the others who are not.
Absolutely right. I think all the bigger ones were already very skeptical and very cautious from compliance perspective. For example, if you talk about me, I'm a mutual fund distributor. I'm a sub broker. I'm a insurance registered advisor. Still, I was never giving any type of tips because we were very scared. We were not clear about the compliances, and so is the case with majority of the other bigger ones. If you talk about bigger ones, I am trying to tell you about those people who are in this industry from last 4 5 years, and they take it very seriously. They are also working for investor education, so they are very serious about their business. They are very serious about protecting rights of retail investors. So as far as I know, the bigger and the older guys are very cautious, and already they have their own compliance and lawyers to take opinion from, and they are being very skeptical about things and waiting for clarity. Yesterday also we had a call and we discussed with other fraternity people. Everyone was like, let's take a professional opinion. Whatever compliance is required, we are ready to do. We just need clarity about compliances, and we are good to go.
Right, and SEBI's gone ahead and said that they've undertaken this move and this overhaul of the registration norms largely in order to simplify the process and to make sure that there is more transparency and that there is more accountability. So do you think with these steps, this will actually be achieved, or more needs to be done?
Yes, ma'am. I feel yes, there will be more accountability from all the financial educator side. But I feel there is still some clarity needed from compliance authorities that what all options are there with the influencers. And as mentioned by Chairman herself, that if someone is providing pure education, then he or she is not required to take any registration, and he can do their work as it is. So I think some more clarity regarding RA, RIA plus AP is required. I think even if you're registered as an AP, you come under compliance, and that should be good for the compliance authorities. But clarity on AP part is still not provided. So I am also waiting for the actual draft document or the compliance guidelines to come, and let's see. I think we are in the right step, especially if we are targeting that India should become financially literate. We should have at least 20 to 30 crores of people, Indians investing in stock market. We need more compliance. We need more confidence from retail investors that they are in good hands. So a welcome step.
You know, and SEBI, this is not the first time. Last year as well, they came down quite heavily on the unregistered influencers, financial influencers. Do you think that we can see more such stringent norms, curbs, steps by SEBI?
See, last year what happened was there were some people who were having just few thousands or few lakh of followers, or they just started their business, and they were also tagged as influencers. I think there has to be clear demarcation that who is a financial educator and who is not. I still remember one of the clippings which I saw that some random case of robbery happened, and he was tagged as FinFluencer in a local newspaper. When I searched him, I realized that he was having mere 5,000 followers. So we need to have clarity on that one. Last year, we saw some strict actions, and in majority of the cases, there were actually investment advisory which was given to the clients. So if you are not registered as a RA or RIA, you can't give advisory services to your clients. That is clear-cut violation of the rules, which is absolutely not allowed. So I know last year we had 2 to 3 major cases, and in majority cases it was fault of the people that they were giving advisory services. But I feel if you are giving education, it should still not be a problem. And we need good financial educators. We are still not completely financially literate as a nation. We still need people to know about finance. So we need a middle way. We need strict. There should be proper protection for doing it with their passion or because they're interested in spreading financial literacy. They should be protected adequately so that they can do their work.
We'll take a very quick break. Be right back.